What is up, guys? Evan Aldo here. Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. What's up, Carlton Way #1, numero uno. So, I guess the thing a lot of people would want to see right now is this Bitcoin long right now. And let me actually just move my stop loss is at entry point. It should be, so there's that. Took the profits. The short got stopped out in profit. So nice double win right there. And I think as we get into kind of more the bear market, the kangaroo market, you would call it whatever you want to call it, or even the bull market continued forever. We'll see, or into 26 or wherever people think, wherever someone may think. I mean, no one knows obviously, but yeah, I mean, hedging the bet does work a lot with the trades. Two trades with a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio, you could easily be profitable. Winning half of those. I think that a lot of that is kind of a good technique. To be only going short, only going long. You could definitely still do well, with that, but I kind of feel like it's just from that probability trader mindset, that's the best way to do things. I think it's more, going both ways, kind of. So let's see. Is this a bull trap? Probably, if I had to guess, but we'll see. I mean, the market always has a way of, kind of humbling you, kind of, not getting your, predictions right. I think losing kind of these January 25 highs, being negative for the year now, I guess, probably, or, where was the year open, kind of, right there. Okay, so we're still slightly above, I would argue, yeah. But losing these highs is not good. I mean, losing those highs would theoretically bring you down to, 92. I mean, just breaking down from this point would give you a target around 78. So, excuse me, she's not that far from, breaking down to those areas. I mean, you go on Twitter, there's people telling you anything you can imagine, literally anything you can imagine. I mean, some of them are going to be right, some of them are going to be wrong. I saw a post saying Zcash was going to 120K, so, I mean, only needs 1,000x from here, or does it? No. It needs, 100x would bring it up to 60,000. It needs 200x. Okay. I think this thing is cooked, kind of, especially if markets do come down. I mean, it could be like your next kind of meme coin. Some of them, they'll have their correction eventually down to 300 or whatever, and then you'll, continue forward or whatever. It does feel kind of retro with this, going crazy. This is a big area right there. Think I mentioned the last stream, or in general, 2-day bear div looks like a good shot of shorting this. You could try now, going down to like the 3. I mean, the thing with this is it probably would be, and there's going to be wicks up and stuff, but something like that. I mean, you probably have a decent shot. So yeah. So government is probably gonna, I haven't been following it extremely closely, guys, but government's probably gonna, come back and open relatively soon, a couple days. They've kind of, the Democrats have caved, which was surprising. I thought people thought the Republicans would cave, so Democrats caved. 85, let's see here. I think it's almost set in stone. I mean, 85%. I'm just curious if you're about, yeah, I mean, you get a slight return if it did do that. So yeah, I think it will be done in a few days, which is good. Maybe even today. So yeah, which is really good. So 12, that is 2 days though. And then price is going to get, the thing with that too is price could get factored in very quickly here as you get that shutdown. Maybe we jump up to 3,700, maybe we jump up to 108 for Bitcoin, and then price may get factored in there, and that may be like, if I had to guess here, you would probably get to 109, 108 and fall over. And I want you guys to keep an eye on these EMAs on the 3-day. Now, they either signal one of two things. In a bull market, or continuation of a bull market or whatever, correction in a bull market, whatever you want to call it, they are a good buy signal. You know, right there, right there. Let's see, I think the last one was in 23. Yeah, right there. It's very similar in a lot of, yeah, that was an earlier one. But when you get to a bear market, which inevitably I think everything has a bear market, but then again, maybe this acts more like the S&P 500 where your bear markets are relatively short, but we'll see. You know, you get, you know, you come down and then it stays, you know, it stays. And the 3-day was good here, guys. I mean, the 3-day for this was damn good. And let's back test this a little bit. Now, this was a little scary here. A lot of people thought it was over, and I mean, against the S&P 500, it was over at this point. Peaked out that year back here. However, you know, you could kind of test this a little bit. You know, when you got into, come on, this last cycle here. My download speed's been slow. It's weird, but where was it? Yeah, man, this looks like nothing in the grand scheme of things, that correction. But right there, April 19. Here, I mean, I guess you would have gotten out a little late. I mean, if you got out, you know, let's say 8,000. I mean, that still wasn't too bad, giving it to, you know, I don't know, 100x or whatever during that, you know, that kind of area. But yeah, I would say that's more of a buy signal. Like the two things I would look at are kind of that to finally get back into the brights if you do go into the grays, because if you back test this coming into the brights, not a bad place. I mean, at this point, yeah, you would be like even or down slightly, but you had a little bit of a ride. Here, you had a pretty damn good ride. You'd still be well ahead. I mean, you'd still be, you know, 40% ahead or whatever. Here, you'd obviously be really good. So you want to look for that, these EMAs to start getting bright here, I would argue. And, you know, when does that happen? I would say, if I had to guess, you know, Q3, Q4 of next year, maybe Q2 if we're lucky. And that would probably be my main guess. And always appreciate you guys smashing the like button if you guys are interested in trading. Oh yeah, forgot to mention, I pinned it in the chat. This is like one of those rare. I've seen, it's rare any exchange does this, but all you got to do, no deposit required, very rare. I've only seen it happen one other time. Very rare. You register and you get $50 and they let you do a trade within 24 hours. I think it's on 1x leverage with the $50, and I think you can, you know, it almost seems too good to be true. Worst case scenario, you'll waste your time. They won't let you withdraw or whatever. Maybe they'll let you trade with the profits, or I don't know. But I think they'll let you withdraw if you make money off the $50 1x leverage trade. So, you know, if you can like ride Zcash down to oblivion, you know, maybe you can make some money with that. So check it out on TapBit. Pretty good exchange. Yeah, I was looking for one with some good bonuses, so they had some good ones. It's non-KYC, which is good. So yeah, here's the bonus, and if you deposit 150, you get 100. So they kind of match your deposit, which is not bad, and you could do the 50. So check it out if you guys are interested. So yeah, and remember, if you deposit, I'll let you get a free month of Discord. If you deposit at least 150, I'll give you the free month in the Discord to any of the exchanges down below. BloFin is great as well, guys. BloFin's the really good exchange I've been using for quite some time. I would spread it out for you guys interested in trading. Spread it out. You know, use even prop trading is good too if you're comfortable with, you know, only keeping 90% of the profits. So yeah. Yeah, BloFin's pretty good. It's still, I think you need to use a VPN in some areas with BloFin, but there's still no KYC. There's no KYC or VPN with TapBit. Somebody said, check your spam if you don't get the authentication email. That's happened on a few different exchanges to me. It was in the spam folder, so just got to check the spam. Didn't realize that. So yeah, and I mean, if we look at, so the thing with ETH versus Bitcoin is I think if ETH is going to survive and, you know, do really well in the, you know, second half of this decade, you want to outperform Bitcoin, continue to outperform Bitcoin, which you definitely can, given that ending QT marked the bottom here in 2019. So you definitely can. Will you? I don't know. But I think there's a good shot of even, you know, even in a scenario where things go down and things bleed, ETH still outperforming. ETH still outperforming Bitcoin, and the alts that outperform Bitcoin. I don't know if I would be buying alts right now unless I saw a really good deal on something. But I think that the alts that are able to outperform Bitcoin in the next 6 months may be ones that will do well in the second half of this decade. Curious about that. I mean, let's just look at. So the thing with Zcash is, I think that maybe wait for the 2-day bear div with money flow coming out. That's a strong bear sign. I could see it coming up a little bit more here. This could be the top right here, guys. If Bitcoin rejects from 108, this could be kind of nailing the coffin for this. But who knows? Maybe it'll just go to infinity. We don't know. But yeah. Some coins are definitely kind of cooked here. Cardano Bitcoin is still above, that kind of area right there. The thing is, I don't really count this wick down because you're still kind of above that area, which is interesting. I mean, I guess if you think, continuation of the bull run, it would be good for alts. If you think end of QT is good for alts, that's good for alts. But if you think bear market while alts outperform Bitcoin, that's a rare situation. It did happen the second half of 2019, so there is that potential. This looks good against Bitcoin, but I mean, Cardano, for example, just doesn't do much. It's just a very boring coin that he hasn't even come anywhere near its old all-time high. Well, I guess almost half of it there, but still, trying to jump up. We'll see what happens. I mean, I think that, I almost, damn. I mean, you just didn't get what we wanted to see. I mean, maybe a wave towards the bottom on the 3-week if you see that, in the second half of next year, if Cardano's still, doing stuff. So that's what we got to look at there. And then what else? So it was Cardano. So let's look at Solana. We got market open coming up relatively soon. So everything's jumping a little bit. We came down. Everything's kind of annoying. I would say the macro signs are just scary. That 3-week. The same thing for Ethereum. That's what I've kind of been thinking was nailing the coffin for this bull run, and you finally got it at. I mean, this bear div on the monthly is kind of nailing the coffin in some ways so far. We did come up, and now you're seeing it again. I mean, that monthly is hard to ignore. It's a very high bearish, probability here. I'm not saying it's 100%, but it's a high bearish probability, if you get what I'm saying. Excuse me. So yeah. Let's see here. Where would I be looking to short? Which is a great question. So I mean, the general thing, we could look at a few things here. We're below the SR point. We're below the VWAP. What is up? Nick Cipher, what's up, man? What's up? How's it going, man? You will be a guest relatively soon on the channel. Not too much longer. Yeah, I was about to set that up. That's gonna be I think it's gonna be at, let me look. Okay, I'm trying to think. That's gonna be 10 p.m. 10 p.m. tonight, guys. Yeah, 10 p.m. tonight, I believe, right? Yeah. Trying to do the math in my head. I'm in Japan right now, but yeah, 9 p.m. Eastern. 9 p.m. Eastern tonight. Yeah, 9 p.m. Eastern tonight, and that's gonna be like 11 a.m. my time, I believe. So, yeah, I'm still good for that, Nick. We're gonna have Nick Cipher on. Give us some insight, hopefully. Hopefully, tell us some good stuff. Really great trader. I'm sure you guys all know who he is. Check out his channel if you haven't already. Yeah, we're gonna do that. So, yeah, I'm gonna go to sleep, wake up tomorrow, and then we're gonna get Nick Cipher on. And leverage is yeah. I mean, Everything is, yeah, I mean, it's more about, how much do you want to risk on an individual trade? You know, how much do you want to risk? Do you want to, I mean, because you can risk a hell of a lot of money and lose a hell of a lot without leverage too, believe me. It depends what you're buying, you know what I mean? Um, if you bought some, let's look at this. I mean, you didn't need to buy this on leverage to lose money, believe me. You could have bought up here. Yeah, currently down 88%. I mean, yeah. Would be worse if you were on leverage, but yeah. It's more about how much do you want to risk in the individual trade. You're getting a higher low in some of these. I mean, the thing that's interesting here, and let's take a look at, I don't know, others versus Bitcoin. And I mean, it would be insane if you can pull off a freaking altcoin season between now and the middle of January like you did over here. It would be insane, I'll say that. But the weekly's looking better here for alts. I mean, I don't know. But the thing is, during this period here, let me circle it for you guys. The last time they ended QT during this period, all the way through, pandemic. That's when, yeah, all the way through here, you were in bear market while alts outperformed Bitcoin. So there's that. You still would have lost money during that period, but your alt would have outperformed Bitcoin theoretically. A lot of them did. Ethereum did. Cardano, I think, did. Chainlink, kind of your legacy alts. So yeah. And I mean, so far this was that wick there. I mean, I guess there's potential, We're a month for, we got 2 months left of the year, about, 7 weeks left of the year. So, there's potential for something. I don't know. I feel like you're almost too far gone, but the fact that Evan Aldo is kind of finally given up on all season probably means there will be one or something, crazy happens, but we'll see. You can look at total 3 versus, oops, I must have typed in something wrong. Oh no, I didn't. Oh no, yes I did. Let's see. There's that potential jump. That actually doesn't look half bad. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, that drop October set doesn't look terrible. It just, the thing is with this, it hasn't looked, every time it's just not. The bullish things don't play out the best. You know what I mean? That's what the thing is here. Saylor is playing a risky game. I will say that. Saylor is playing a very, very risky game. He's got liquidation point, average purchase price of there. And he some of it's with debt, I think this is the, kind of like Tesla selling, I'm sure Tesla sold more for their subsidies or whatever back in 2022. Could that history rhyme with that at some point in 2026? I don't know. But he's playing too risky of a game than you should be playing if you're in his position. I mean, I guess it's all legacy at this point, but, What's he worth, 10 billion, 5 to 10 billion now? Well, government being reopened, and I mean, obviously that may not be the reason. If crypto does go up and keeps pumping, that may not be the reason why. Number two, that kind of price gets factored in before it kind of happens. Like, price could be completely factored in if it's like a 90-something% chance on poly market in, a couple hours or a day or two, So that doesn't necessarily mean that you would keep going. I was listening to a space, or I was speaking as well in a space with James Wynn in it, the most talked about popular man in crypto lately, the infamous. and it was interesting. It's kind of more down to earth. He's talking about how he kind of posts stuff more for attention and all that. It's big surprise. I know, but he was saying that he thinks things will go down a lot, and then it'll get to 250K by the next year. So never say never, but that's just. I think let's say you go down to like 60 or 70K or something, like you said. To get to 200K by the end of next year, 250K, that's tough, man. You'd be hoping for a new all-time high by the end of next year, and you probably won't even get that. Oh yeah, here, Ethan. I'm in a nice trade right here. A nice $8,400 one right there. So yeah, not bad. I took some profits and did the genius thing of putting them on a leverage trading account from the spot bags. But yeah. Let's see here. There's that area. Yeah, I don't know. I think we can go up to 108. We'll see what happens. Maybe that 112. This is the big pocket kind of. Well, reclaiming 108's pretty good, I would say, because you got the two peaks there, and then this rejected and then came up. Yeah, there's that. This was the last year for you right here. You did come up. You did your end of 2021 wasn't too good, obviously. I do mainly swing trade. These were kind of the ones, the last two I was in were more hybrids of swinging and day trading. It wasn't the best, I'll be honest, last few months of trading. I was too long, too married to the idea of, us coming up higher, I guess. And, now I'm hedging the bets a little bit better. Let's see. Markets are open now. I just want to see how, let's see, NBC, like what, I don't even, does Trump want the, it's going to open in a few days anyway, so yeah. Little leak over there. Not a big deal. It's just it's damn shower cartridges, man. Anyway, stocks, not too much, man. Not like trading them really. Not too much. It's similar. Some may argue it's a little bit easier to trade. When you trade the same instrument a lot, you kind of get used to it more. Whether it's a stock, whether it's a crypto or anything like that. So, yeah. This is still going Rudy Giuliani. Man, he hasn't been too relevant since 2020. Past 5 years, not too much. So yeah. Swing shorting Zcash, yeah. A lot of people are going to be on that though. Be careful. They may. If Bitcoin and ETH keep going up, it probably can keep going up. If you do think, part of me almost thinks that you may see something interesting with the Fed ending QT and all that, but I do think it will take some months, kind of like 2019. It'll be interesting to see, man. It'll be interesting. So yeah. The one thing that we want to obviously start to outperform is and probably the most important thing in the world to outperform is S&P 500. And I don't know if you're really there yet. mean, you're kind of getting this hit, somewhat of an area. I don't know if you're going to show. You're already below the peak of 2021. I mean, here you went kind of quite a bit below that peak of 2020, kind of back to the 15K range when you went back to the 15K range there. Yeah, I think what was this, like 413, 15, something like that, 15K, I guess, would have made sense. I mean, if you just look at this, like that, I mean, it would probably be, maybe that 21 high against the SPY, or maybe just down here. I don't know. I mean, if you were to lose this, you'd be looking at, probably this area. I would say this area would be, and this is against a SPY, so it'd probably be, higher than this low of August, which is what, like 48K or something like that, 40K maybe. I think it was 48K. Yeah, that 48K. So I think the 48K is pretty big. Maybe it would be, a little bit higher against the SPY there. I think the 48K is pretty important, 50K, NewFi? What do you mean, crypto? Objectively, Ethan, the last bull market had a hell of a lot more attention. The social retail crew is not here to, and that's what's prevented kind of altcoin season in a lot of ways, in addition to monetary policy. But yeah, social risk has been low for a long time. You may not see, a 2021 scenario ever, Again, you could see mania phases, you'll see mania phases, I think, especially into the end of this decade, probably, Bitcoin at multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars. But yeah, I don't know. I think that Bitcoin this decade could peak out at, by the end of the decade, between 2 to 400K, probably. That would be my range. And I mean, if you do look at, let's just look at, diminished returns a little bit here. If we look at, because I mean, obviously these different bull runs, let's map, what did these different bull runs give you? I mean, from this bottom, I'm not going to count that wick, but like that bottom, that was what, it was essentially 100x, or wait a second, yeah, it was like 200 to 20,000, so that was like, yeah, it was 100x, 90x. Here was about a 20x, about, 1/5 of that, give or take, 1/5. Let's see what this was. So, and this was the first one where you actually did a little bit better. 700. So that, well, what's 1/5 of 1900? I don't know the math on that, but what's 1/5 of? Yeah, what's 1/5 of 19? It would be like 5. No, you did better. It'd be like 400 or 500, I think. Yeah, 400 maybe. This one did better, And there's probably, diminishing other things we could look at. If you wanted to look at 1/5, it would have been only like, here. However, let's do a little bit more digging. Let's look at things adjusted for inflation. I don't know if this is the best, avenue to look at things adjusted for inflation, but, what else do we really have? Well, there's some other things, but, here, 9,000, so similar. Here, 2,000. Here, 800. So a little bit better that time, I guess, in some ways. Let's see, against the Dixie anyway. So if we were looking at 9,000 to, I mean, I guess you could, go like this and have it be, this is a little bit, yeah. I mean, you could say that's like less. So that was like, instead of 1/5, it's 1/6. And then what's 1/6 of 2,000? 1/6 of 2,000 would be what, like 300%? So, you've kind of doubled that, I guess. I mean, if you could say we got like maybe a little less than half the bull market this time, there's that. And then these corrections against the Dixie 80, 85, 87. This one could be 75 maybe. Really depends where things end up. That's like probably a 35K Bitcoin or something, or 40K maybe. And I'm not saying it's going that low, but I don't think Trump promised the check. I think it was just a kind of Twitter or Truth Social idea. I don't see how Congress is going to pass that, man. So to answer your question, probably not. I don't think they would ever put that through Congress or pass that. But I mean, I guess over time we're getting into more of a UBI society or whatever. So never say never. So yeah, that's kind of the next thing. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, I think Well, how is that? All right, let me ask you guys this question. How is that going to be done? Doesn't Congress need to pass that? Is there a bill in Congress they're already going to vote on? You know, I'm too high. First of all, they said it's not for high income people. Trump said it's not for high income people, so I wouldn't even get it. I don't think. Um, I don't know. The previous stimulus checks you wouldn't get if you made over 100K. I think so. I mean, that's not even 100K is what. That's not even too far above average income in the U.S. Average income in the big cities nowadays. I mean, that's not. Um, yeah, it's not even. So I wouldn't even get it most likely, unless they give it to literally everyone. That's tough too. I mean, you look at it like that. I mean, that comes off as like so socialist too. Especially not only especially not even giving it to everyone, only giving it to people below a certain income or whatever. High earners wouldn't get it, but I mean, I don't know. You look at history. This is all just history, indicator history, all that. RSIs came down there, came down a little bit, then came down more. Yeah. Excuse me. You kind of had this, similar thing here. I mean, this just looked more like. I guess you're thinking like that. You get one more jump up, but nah. In that area. Curious what this correction was. Interesting. That was 80. And this was when it was at literally 0, but 84. So it's even that kind of area right there. Yeah. I mean, this is when like Bitcoin kind of became somewhat relevant in this bull cycle. If you guys are curious, like did anyone really know about Bitcoin back in 2011, 2012? Most people did not know about Bitcoin. Even the really nerdy people didn't know too much about Bitcoin until these areas here. Because what was your market cap here? That's when it first went into the billions or whatever. I don't know the math, but yeah. I mean, I don't think many people in 2011. I mean, what was your market cap there? It says 0 on this damn. Well, that's against the Dixie, but you get what I mean. I mean, is there a Bitcoin market cap? Oh, here we go. Let's look at it in terms of market cap. 2 trillion. I believe 1 trillion is at what, like 48, 50, yeah, something like that. That's a big point too. That 1 trillion, I think. This only goes back to 2014. But yeah, I mean that I remember it here in early 2015. I mean 2 billion. I mean you got to be at a billion to be relevant. I mean a billion was more back then. A billion, 3 billion back then was like 5 billion, 6 billion. But yeah, Yeah, that previous cycle it got into the higher, 10, 20 billion maybe. That kind of area. And that's when it first became relevant, but yeah. It's kind of funny, like nothing against you guys. I like you guys, but it's just like funny, like not just you. Like a lot of people are like, it's like we're just like, I mean, what are we like? We're just waiting and trying to get money from the government. Like, come on, I don't even want this dirty money. Well, not that it's dirty, but um, they're on the. Yeah, they're not gonna bother with that. I wonder what that backlash would be if they made that illegal again. Anyway, but I mean, what did we open green? Yeah, we're up. It's a good amount right now. I would guess, yeah, with the government shutdown stuff, it's probably pretty good for the Nasdaq. I would assume the Qs, I would assume, are not in a terrible place. I would assume. Now let's look at the triple Qs. The Qs. And everything looks pretty overheated, guys. We could look at Tau now. Oh yeah. Sure. I mean, it's hard to say with this. Let me try to find more data on Dow. It could jump up. It's possible up to these areas. I mean, I don't. Kind of playing green dot green dot red dot. I mean, it's either gonna break down here or break upwards. So I don't know. And true right there in gold. I think this will kind of rally with everything else a little bit, and then probably roll over. That could have been the high. Maybe go a little bit higher. Hard to say. Pretty act. Kind of coming down. Yeah, I mean, definitely coming down so far on the open for Bitcoin and ETH. I mean, I think there's a decent shot. Still, I want to wait, but I don't know, man. I don't know how much more she's got in her, Could easily be a bull trap here. I mean, this could be. I'm not trying to be like the downer of bad news, but I mean, you had a 20% jump up for ETH. It's going to be the place to get the hell out, If you think we're going to go down and you think the macro is going to play out and you think this, think the macro is going to play out. I mean, you think this 3-week is going to play out like I do. And this monthly, mind you, which is even worse. Your 35.40 is the time to get the hell out, in my opinion. I mean, it depends. But, there's that. I'm curious on, because this has, the 3-day looks pretty similar to how it looks on Bitcoin. Now, the 2-day, here's what may be interesting, because here, okay, you came down a lot, but you still came up. Here you came down a bit, you still came up. you know, I just want to look at there, came down, and that came up, yeah. I mean, bear market area, yeah, I mean, if you go into a bear market, it's not it's down for a while, that's the thing. We don't know, but in those bear market years, those bear market times, could be down for a while. Now, last time, let's look at 2022 again. It wasn't until January. It took a little bit longer there, but you could be early or you could be delayed or whatever. So yeah, here was even here was early, here was later. This was earlier, and maybe now it's even earlier. It's kind of like we're in a simulation almost. Can I do a quick recap on Bitcoin prices, Joel? Yeah, I mean, long story short, we could jump up to 108. I do think most likely we're in a bull trap, but we'll see. Still looks pretty bad in the macro, in my opinion. Yeah, it's just my opinion, though. So yeah. I'll probably stay on a little bit longer. I got to go to bed kind of early tonight. I got to collab with Nick Cipher coming up relatively soon. So yeah. I'll schedule that probably after the stream, but on about 46 minutes. I'll stay on a couple more minutes, but I don't know if there's really too much else to talk about. Let me show you guys the new exchange. TapBit. Oh yeah, this is actually a really cool promo because you don't have to deposit anything. They give you like on 1x leverage a $50 trade. I mean, if you can withdraw profits from that, that's pretty sick. Check it out. I don't know if they'll let you, but you get a free trade on 1x leverage. I mean, you could short Zcash to oblivion theoretically. I think the trade stops after 24 hours or something, but hey, I mean, it's a free trade, man. It's a free trade. They don't do that too. I've only seen one other exchange ever do something like this, so check it out. The deposit bonuses are pretty good. You deposit 150, get $100 trading bonus. So yeah, yeah. Check it out if you guys are interested. Gold coming up to that point. This is buy ETH, Bitcoin DXY. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We opened kind of red there. Let's look at some TradFi a little bit. Oh yeah, we looked at. Let me zoom in on the Nasdaq here a little bit. Okay, so we're obviously outperforming Bitcoin. I mean, we're opening upward. What I would say is I would be more concerned once we get the kind of bear div there on the triple Q. I want to look at triple Q versus SPY because that's been just so out of control bullish late. I mean, well, yeah, I mean, since the low of, since the last few years, just completely out of control bullish. This doesn't seem like it wants to, I don't know. This doesn't seem that toppy here. I would probably bet you will come down, but maybe you're gonna, maybe the Nasdaq's the new, because the thing with the Nasdaq, it's kind of like the new S&P 500 to a certain extent. Like, I mean, you could talk about the Dow, but like nobody's even, I mean, no one even, cares about the Dow anymore. And I mean, the younger population, I don't know if, because this, you compare this and let's just look at previous bear market years. Like I think overall it did bleed, against S&P 500 in 2018, 2022 quite a bit actually. But what was this amount? Yeah, 17. Let's look at 2014. Look at 2014 here. It did in the beginning, and then towards the end, you still outperformed the S&P 500. So. You might. I mean, Berkshire Hathaway did better against. It's probably bleeding a little bit against it now, but it did better against the triple Q in those years. So yeah. These two peaks there. But the thing is, 2022, obviously. And that was a mild recession in some ways. 2018, I think overall you eked out. Yeah. You bled in the beginning, and then towards the end you eked it out. And then 2014, something similar. Yeah. I mean, just a bit. Yeah, you eked it out in 20. I mean, not a lot, but you did eke it out. What's up, James? Um, it's Nick Cipher, Carlton. Let me get up Nick's Cipher's channel. I'll show you guys his channel right here. He does a lot of good stuff. Check him out. Subscribe to his channel. He needs some more. Only 5,000. He needs more subscribers. What's he been doing? Let's see. Oh, the three amigos. Tres amiguitos. Anyway. So yeah. Check him out. What does this mean? What Trump say there's Syria presidential events November 10th? That's a good question. Anyway. Trump suing BBC. Yeah, we'll see how that works. I mean, some people have been afraid of the lion. I mean, Zuckerberg, even Bill Gates came out to say climate change doesn't exist anymore. He didn't exactly say that, but I guess he said it's not as bad or whatever anymore. Or not as bad as he thought, probably. I don't think... Yeah, I mean, the thing is now you can buy fractional shares, and they've had the Berkshire B for a while, the baby one, so... Probably some old people, very rich people would probably have full shares. I mean, it's not that common. I don't know. I probably am just wasting time and, just being too old looking at it. But I don't know. It is what it is. I think that because it looks like a SPY. Yeah, even in those years, the frickin' triple Q still outperformed the... So that's a thing. I mean, other than 22, I mean, if it's like 18, well, yeah, that's a thing. It was iffy. It was iffy. You get a better dividend with the, with the SPY, obviously. First half, yeah. I feel like it's kind of going to be the opposite of 18. Like the first half will be bearish, the second half will be bullish. Just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. That's that kind of situation. 2014 was not a little bit down, then just upward, yeah. That's the thing too. Like, I mean, you hit that. Well, the thing really is this line should have been. I mean, some of these are kind of fugazi, but I mean, yeah, you broke below that. Probably everyone thought it was over. Then you just broke upward. I mean, the thing with the Nasdaq, I think the bigger question with the Nasdaq is like, can it make a new all-time high against gold? Which, I mean, it's came up so much against gold in the last 15 years, but it came down a lot against gold. I'll tell you that much in that 10-year, 93% against gold. Jeez. My guess is you probably would show more strength, and I don't know, come up more, but. We'll see, man. I don't know. Let me just look at, let's look at the SPY in general. I'm just curious, like short term. S&P 500. This is where it gets more, yeah, it's like, do you want to buy the, all-time high on this thing? I don't know. Maybe. See me gap. Yeah, they don't always. There's probably another one at like 92 or something, right? They don't always play out. That's just one of the many things you could look at. Yeah, James, I would kind of agree with that. I mean, it is a bit weird, yeah. I mean, it's been over against the S&P 500 for Bitcoin since July. I'll tell you that much. Probably the same thing on ETH. I mean, ETH still hasn't even made a new all-time high against S&P 500. I mean, I guess you think it's really going to be a really extended cycle, then I guess it could pull it off, but SPY in general, I think, does not look, too good at the moment. You got your 2-week bear div. I mean, do you want to buy into a 2-week bear div? I mean, you get a lot of these, and they don't do too much, but they bring you down a little bit, but yeah. So we're very due for some type of. I mean, I don't know. If you were to see the first half of 2026 being bearish, like you'd probably see something like that. I mean, the big area that there's. Let's just see, what kind of correction is this from that point? That's 16, 13. And what was this, 15 to 20 right here? That was 21. Yeah, and generally every time this thing comes down, like, I mean, what was this, 30, 25, yeah, 27. That was quite a bit right there. Not a fun year. And what was this, pandemic? No, it wasn't even that bad. Yeah, 36, but still. It came quick. Right there, I mean, that double, yeah, from 08, and then. What would that, I'm just thinking, like, if you were to. That's like depression numbers. Yeah, if you were to go down to 80%, that's just pure depression. That's probably not going to happen. What would recession number, like, full on? I mean, recession would be 415, 3, yeah, I mean, that's full on recession. If you were to come back to like 22 lows, I think that would be full on recession. If you were to come up to, and this is just very speculative, but a 50% from there, I think this high is somewhat significant in history. Like, I feel like you may revisit somewhere around here at some point in the 2030s when you do get that recessionary correction. I mean, there are people that will tell you that, it's going to be different because all they do is print money, but I don't know. I mean, I would still look at history. That's just my opinion. I mean, printing money is not a new concept. It's been done for a long time. Anyway, guys, I think I'm gonna get going. I will see you guys pretty soon. I don't know, in about 11 hours for Nick Cipher. Have him on. And yeah, I'll get that set up. So I'll see you guys really soon. Check out the TapBit bonus. This is a very rare one. You get $50 for just registering. I think you could use the trade within 24 hours or put it in, and it gets out after 24 hours. See what you can do with $50 on 1x leverage. I'd be curious. So check it out if you guys are interested.